तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगघन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome all the devotees for today's Bhagavatam. So last week we started with the 8th chapter. So could you someone recollect what some important points what we discussed last week?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prahlad Maharaja says, the source of my strength is the source of yours. He alone is the source of all strength. Every living being is completely dependent on Krishna. Once you surrender to Krishna, a devotee becomes fearless. No one should claim he is independent.
Fearless, yeah, very nice. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Anyone else would like to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We
Yeah.
saw that real enemy is our uncontrolled mind only. So we have to conquer our own mind and senses.
Yeah,
That's
very
the
nice.
real
Correct.
achievement. We have to conquer the 6 enemies. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada and Matsarya.
Yeah.
And this can be achieved by pure devotional service, by surrendering to Lord Krishna.
So Hiranyakashipu, he is not able to control his mind. He was under the control of the mind. This was under the control of the 6 enemies. But Prahlad Maharaj, although he was just 5, 6 years old boy, he was completely under his control. He was not controlled by the mind. So Hiranyakashipu got angry very much with Prahlad, and finally he decided to kill Prahlad. And he started abusing him. And finally he asked, where is your source of your strength? I did penance for so many years and I got pulled from Lord Brahma to get all the power. But how about you? So he could not understand or he could not realize that Prahlad is completely under the control of Krishna. So Prahlad was trying to preach to Hiranyakashipu, but the more you try to preach to the foolish people, they become more angry. That's a problem. So finally, Hiranyakashipu asked, "Where is your master?" Then he's asking, "Why is he not present in the pillar?" So Prahlad said, "He is very well present in the pillar." So Hiranyakashipu was controlled by anger. He completely was not in control, and finally he tried to hit with his fist the pillar, and there came Narasimhadev Bhagavan with a form which no one could imagine. The first time the Lord has taken such a form to prove his devotees' statement that he is present everywhere. And also he wanted to protect the boon given by Lord Brahma. So Hiranyakashipu is very clever. He tried to ask different ways so that he will not be killed in the daytime or nighttime or weapons. So many conditions, terms and conditions he put to Lord Brahma. And Brahma finally agreed. But then Narasimhadev, Krishna is more smarter than anyone. So he can come in such a way that Hiranyakashipu could not imagine. So when Hiranyakashipu saw Narasimhadev, he could not fathom. He could see that how angry Narasimhadev towards him because he was always torturing Prahlad, his pure devotee. So there is a fight between Hiranyakashipu and Narasimhadev. So that's what we ended last week, and now we continue to read from text 26. So in text 26, it is described like Garuda plays with a snake. What happened is that Hiranyakashipu slipped from the hands of Narasimhadev. So all the devatas, they were also looking at this great pastime, and they were wondering that Hiranyakashipu escaped from Lord Narasimhadev, and they were worrying when he will be killed. So actually what is that happening is Krishna is under complete control. So the devatas may be worried. They are in we have so much of anxiety. We are in a conditioned souls. But Prahlad is not disturbed. So what appears dangerous or uncertain to conditioned souls is merely the Lord's effortless pastime. So here we see the devatas are in anxiety, but the Lord is not in anxiety at all. That Hiranyakashipu, he escaped from Lord Narasimhadev's hand. So they were thinking, the demon thinking, what if the demon escapes? They were waiting when he will be killed. So we should understand there was never any danger for the Lord. Actually, Narasimhadev, he voluntarily allowed Hiranyakashipu to slip away. So just to play with him. This is his pastime. Because nothing happens outside Krishna's control. So even what appears to be an accident, it may be a part of divine arrangement. So now the question is asked, why did the Lord let him escape? Narasimhadev, he could have killed Hiranyakashipu instantly, but he allowed him to struggle because what is the reason? To demonstrate his supreme strength. Sometimes during the wrestling match, now what happens? He allows his opponent to make some few moves, not because he is weak, but because he controls the entire contest. Similarly, Lord Narasimhadev was simply enjoying the divine Leela. So here the analogy is given like Garuda. So Garuda, sometimes he catches a snake and then releases it for some time, but he again catches the snake. So we see that actually the snake has no chance for escaping. It's always under the control of Garuda. So like that, Hiranyakashipu, he never had even the slightest chance for escaping from the Lord. So it is not due to the Lord's weakness. It was his pastime. It was his play. So why were the Devatas? They were becoming very anxious because they know Hiranyakashipu how cruel he was, because he tortured the Devatas. So if Hiranyakashipu escaped, and then again he will take revenge on the Devatas. So we can understand why the Devatas were anxiety. They are waiting when he will be killed by Nrsimhadev. So the lesson here is that even the higher planetary people system, even the Devatas, they are also in anxiety. In the material world, everyone is in anxiety some or otherwise. So some people think that even if I go to the Swarga Loga, I can be very happy there. No. There also problems are there. There also the fourth problem continues. Jananutya Jara, the problem continues. They are also attacked by the demons. So no place in this world is safe. So that's why this place is described by Krishna as Dukkalayam Ashaswatam. Means no matter whatever great arrangements we make, there will be some situation where we will be put under anxiety. Just like when you are in the middle of the ocean, you can't say that I can be very peaceful here, taking very nice sun bath. It is not possible. The waves will toss up and down. Same way in the material world, how much ever a great person may be, still he has to face a lot of difficulties. That is the nature of this material world. So we should also understand the difference between the Devatas and the pure devotees. The Devatas, they also possess devotion, and that's why they have been given various administrative posts to control the material world. But they become disturbed by external situation. But when we can see here Prahlad, a pure devotee, even though he was put into under great difficult situation, Prahlad remained steady. He never became disturbed. So he knows. How is that? Because he knows that whatever the Lord does is perfect arrangement for him. So that is the difference between a devotee and the Devata. So the same situation, the Devatas, they are looking at the situation, and Prahlad also looking at the Lord. So in our life also, when difficult is, we usually ask, what is happening? Prahlad teaches us to ask, where is Krishna's mercy in this situation? So we should always look for Krishna's mercy. Krishna is teaching us some lesson. So any difficult situation comes in our life, we should see that Krishna's hand is there. Everything that Krishna, right? So conditioned souls we judge by, like the Devatas, they see the external thing and they did not know what is the Lord's complete plan. Similarly, in our life also, there are many situations appear frightening. Somebody may lose the job, somebody may get some sickness or a serious disease. Later we discover that they become our greatest blessings. That will bring closer to Krishna. So just like I operate, and he thinks that my father is being harmed, but the doctor knows he is healing. Similarly, the Lord's action often appear difficult, yet they are perfectly beneficial. Right? So one may be thinking, why Prahlad is such a great devotee? Why the Lord is putting under great difficulty? Because actually the Krishna wants him, the world to know how pure Prahlad, how the greatness of devotional service, the greatness of dependence of Krishna. So why does the Lord perform this pastime? The whole pastime is what? Why? You know who is Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu, he is like Jaya and Vijaya. They both came as two demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. and later as Kumbhakarna and Ravana. So like that, they took different incarnations just to play a pastime, give bliss to the Lord, because the Lord wanted to have a fight. So that was a blessing that they got. They took birth as demons, and they are fighting with the Lord just for the Lord's pleasure. Because Krishna is Anandamaya, he is full of bliss. So therefore his activities are not forced, they are divine pastime. So we can see that even while destroying the greatest demon, the Lord is divine, peaceful, joyful, and effortless. So the important principle is here. It is not that Lord Narasimhadev is struggling to fight Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, actually Narasimhadev, he did not have to come to fight physically with Hiranyakashipu. Just like if he wants, he is sitting in the heart as Paramatma, he can just create a heart attack for Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu could do that easily. But just to create a wonderful pastime, Lord Narasimhadev physically comes and is fighting with Hiranyakashipu. At the same time, he is giving pleasure to the devotees. So anxiety comes from limited visions. The Devatas, they don't know what will happen next. Therefore, they are worried. But the Lord knows past, present, and future. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana. He's saying very clearly, I know the present, past, present, and future, but no one knows me in truth. So it is very difficult for ordinary conditioned souls to understand what and why Krishna does. So therefore, we can understand that our anxiety comes because we lack control, but Krishna is in full control. We lack vision. So therefore, faith means trusting the Lord's process. Prahlad Maharaj, he never doubted. He never advised the Devatas to become panic. His whole life, if we see, we are that he has complete faith in Krishna. So sometimes the Lord appears to delay. Sometimes he appears to allow evil, temporary freedom. Ultimately, his justice is perfect. Sometimes we may, as devotees, we may be, something happens in our life. We may be praying, but we don't get any answer immediately. But we have to wait when Krishna will act. He will definitely hear our devotees' prayers. He will never allow his devotee to get destroyed. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, why he is incarnating? He is Vinashayasha Dushkritam. He comes to Paritranaya Sadhunam. He comes to protect his devotees and annihilate the demons. So definitely Krishna has got higher plan. So therefore we can understand the Lord's victory is going to happen 100%. But just to create a anxiety, just to create a Leela, Krishna does he just allows Hiranyakashipu to escape. So therefore, we should not judge too quickly, or we should not doubt about Krishna's mercy. We should always wait for Krishna's intervention at right time. And we should see beyond external circumstances. Just like Prahlad, how he has strong faith, same way we should develop complete faith in Krishna. So that we need to understand. Okay, so what happened in text 27? Hiranyakashipu, he again started attacking the Lord. He slipped from Narasimhadev's hand, but he took his sword and shield and started attacking Narasimhadev. So this is a principle that we need to understand, that illusion of material success. That Prabhupada explained that temporary prosperity, power, or apparent victory, we should not mistake for Krishna's approval. Sometimes the Lord deliberately allows the sinful to prosper, not because he favors them, but because their false pride is being allowed to mature before inevitable justice is administered. Sometimes we may see that we are devotees, we are we are not getting much material comforts, but a person who is doing all kinds of sinful activity, he is getting all the material comfort. How is that? So the reason is here like this only. That Hiranyakashipu is a demon and he had all the material opulence. So one may think that how is that Hiranyakashipu is getting all the material opulence, whereas Prahlad is a poor boy, he is getting tormented. So the reason is that he is just allowing Hiranyakashipu his false pride, so that it become finally he will come and smash his false pride by destroying him. So therefore we should understand that our material success is not always a sign of God's favor, nor we should see temporary suffering as a sign of Krishna's divine neglection. No, God is not neglecting us. Krishna arranges perfectly both prosperity and adversity according to his divine plan. So we should see a sinful person's temporary success often becomes the very cause of his final destruction. Because Hiranyakashipu was becoming very proud and he is committing great aparat against his pure devotee. Finally, he will be killed by Narsimadev. So Hiranyakashipu, he did the same mistake. He misunderstood that he is getting the Lord's mercy. He thought that he escaped from Krishna's hand, Narsimadev's hand by his power, and the Lord is afraid of him. But actually, that's a greatest illusion. We see that the Lord has released him voluntarily. Therefore, a proud person, he always interprets everything in a way that increases his ego. So false pride is a very dangerous because it blinds the intelligence. So Hiranyakashipu, he was not thinking that how he escaped. Instead, he thought that I escaped because I am stronger than Narsimadev, because of his false ego. So sometimes we also make different plans. We think that we are smarter than the God. So we make smarter plans, try to cheat some people, and we become, some people do shortcut method to earn more money, like that. So that way, nobody can escape from Krishna. They may even succeed, but ultimately, that same success will put them down also. Like we see so many people who have minted lot of money by hook or crook, but ultimately they are caught by the laws and punished, right? Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasaga Ahankara Udatma Kartagam iti manyate. So a living entity thinks that he is the doer. I am the doer. Because of me only everything is happening. Like Hiranyakashipu is thinking, I escaped my own strength. So we should not make a mistake that temporary success means divine approval. Of course, for devotee, if he is able to take both success and failure in a neutral way, then there is no problem. But when one success comes, when one is become puffed up, and when some distress comes, he become totally depressed. So that is not a sign of a devotee. So main teaching of Prabhupada here is sometimes we see dishonest people becoming wealthy, cruel people becoming powerful, wicked people apparently flourishing. So why Krishna allow all these things? The answer is that the Krishna deliberately he allows the sinful to enjoy temporarily, not as a reward, but as part of the eventual correction. Like for example, a fisherman, he does not immediately pull the fish out of the water. He allows it to swim for a while, thinking it is free. So that freedom is temporary. Similarly, the materialistic people imagines I am independent, but he remains under the control of the Supreme Lord. Sometimes atheistic people, they say that you devotees, you are wasting so much time in doing devotional service. See, look at me, I am not doing anything, but still I am getting whatever I want. But that is not the case. So just the Lord is allowing the proud to be freedom for some time, but ultimately time, the Lord in the form of time, he comes and destroys them. So this is the thing. So other thing is that Krishna always gives opportunity for people to surrender. Here also Hiranyakashipu could have surrendered, but he did not surrender. So we should never judge, or we should not take granted that material prosperity is the ultimate success. If we are getting material prosperity, and if we don't know how to utilize, see as the mercy of God and utilize those prosperity in the service of Krishna, then that becomes the danger situation. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that there are in the 16th chapter, this characteristic of demonic people. There he says, Ishwaro aham bohi, siddho aham balavan sukhi. So what does the demon think? He thinks that I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, I am perfect, I am powerful, I am happy. So this perfectly describes Hiranyakashipu's mentality. Hiranyakashipu, he did not think that there is one supreme controller beyond him. He thought that he is the supreme. So here the Lord is just playing with Hiranyakashipu and waiting for a correct time to punish him, because he had a boon that he will not be killed during the daytime or in the night time. So actually Hiranyakashipu is waiting, Narasimhadev is waiting to wait for the twin light, that is at the Sandhya time. Neither it is night, neither it is daytime. So till that time, he was just actually playing with Hiranyakashipu. Okay, let's see, text 28. So finally, what happened? Narasimhadev captured Hiranyakashipu. He played with him some time, and then he easily grabbed Hiranyakashipu. So sometimes what happened? Hiranyakashipu was flying. He is a great demon. He has mystic powers. He was disappearing and appearing. He was flying in the air. But then Narasimhadev is the Supreme Lord. He finally caught hold of him. When Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can escape. There is a saying is that Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake ke. Means when Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can escape. And when Krishna wanted to protect someone, nobody can kill him. And that's exactly this pastime. Krishna wanted to protect Prahlad. So Hiranyakashipu could not kill him by any means. And here we see that Narasimhadev wanted to kill Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu doing all kinds of tricks. But he is caught finally. And Hiranyakashipu is going to be killed by Narasimhadev. So, no amount of material intelligence or power, speed, weapons, or military skill can protect a person if he is opposing the Supreme Lord. So here Narasimhadev was laughing just to see that Hiranyakashipu's puny attempt to escape from him. So why the Lord is laughing while fighting? This is not like an ordinary laughter. It was a transcendental expression of his supreme confidence. Because Hiranyakashipu, he imagined that he could defeat Narsimadev. But the Lord, the challenge of Hiranyakashipu to the Lord is very insignificant. Therefore, Narsimadev was laughing at the attempt made by Hiranyakashipu to kill him. Hiranyakashipu, he was putting all his trust in his weapons, with sword, shield, and all kinds of things to fight with him and defeat Narsimadev. But finally, he got defeated. So nothing can protect us nowadays. The scientists are doing all inventing so many kinds of weapons to protect themselves, but nobody can protect when death comes. When death comes, nobody can escape from Krishna, right? So the atheist, they may talk so many things about against the Lord, but when Krishna comes as the form of time and takes their life, they cannot protect themselves. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Devi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya, means no one can overcome his supreme will, his divine energy. So Krishna, no one can escape from the Lord. We may talk so many things, the atheists may talk so many things against the Lord, but they cannot escape from Krishna. So Hiranyakashipu was moving very fast in the sky, but no speed cannot save from one. The Lord can effortlessly can catch if he wants. So no one can run faster than the Supreme Lord. So now in the verse it is said that earlier Hiranyakashipu, he boasted, I am the supreme controller. But now he says that as soon as he was caught by Narsimadev, he closed his eyes out of fear. So this is what the false pride is. It lasts only until one encounters a power greater than oneself. So the analogy of a hawk is given. You know what is hawk? It's like a kind of eagle, right? So Lord Narsimadev is like a hawk. Hawk, he captures his prey swiftly and effortlessly. The hawk, it will easily catch his prey. Similarly here, Narsimadev, he caught hold of Hiranyakashipu very effortlessly. So the Lord's effort is certain here. So finally we see the text 29 that how Narsimadev killed Hiranyakashipu. So it was during that twilight time. It was neither daytime or night time, the Sandhya time. So, and Hiranyakashipu, the Lord put Hiranyakashipu on his lap. So he was not in the earth, he was not in the air, he was in the lap of Narsimadev. And Narsimadev did not use any weapons. He tore the intestines, he tore the stomach and took all the intestines and put it as a garland on his neck. So with his nail only, he effortlessly he killed Hiranyakashipu. Finally, he was killed. Just like a snake effortlessly catches a mouse, like the Garuda catches the snake. So Hiranyakashipu finally killed the greatest demon, Hiranyakashipu. Narsimadev killed Hiranyakashipu. So he fulfilled all the promise made by Brahma that Hiranyakashipu was so clever that nobody can defeat him, but he was finally killed by Hiranyakashipu, so Narsimadev. So therefore we can understand that Lord's intelligence is infinite. Hiranyakashipu was thinking he had become immortal, so he put all these conditions so that death cannot happen to him. But Narsimadev is intelligent than anyone else. So human intelligence can never surpass Krishna's intelligence. So that we need to understand. So we should always understand we are always under the control of Krishna. We cannot escape. So to surrender is intelligent, not to counter we cannot fight against the Supreme Lord. So why Krishna protected Brahma? Because Brahma is a great devotee. He is a faithful servant. He is a secondary creator. So he does this duty according to Krishna's instruction to do creation. So therefore he is faithful to Krishna. Therefore he wanted to protect, honor Brahma's words. That's why Hiranyakashipu was. That's why now Narasimhadev he took this form, which is neither a human form or animal form. It is half man, half lion form. So Krishna always protects the honors the devotees' words. So this is another example of Bhakta Vatsala. Krishna is called Bhakta Vatsala, means one who is very affectionate towards his devotee. So Lord Brahma is a great devotee, right? So therefore he wanted to protect his devotee, his words. So every condition was perfectly fulfilled. So he was not killed outside. He was not inside the doorway nor outside the doorway like that. He was not killed by weapons. He was not killed by any ordinary living being. So the Lord did not violate even one word. Now, why this Sandhya Kala is very important, because it is neither day or night. Spiritual meaning is that Sandhya is also a time of transition. Likewise, the moment marked the transition from the reign of arrogance to the reign of devotion. So that's why the twilight is a important symbol. So why the doorways? What is this doorway? Why Narasimhadev took the doorways? The Lord killed him in his doorway because it is neither inside or outside. So what is that symbolic lesson here? The doorway represents the boundary between material life and spiritual life, pride and surrender, ignorance and enlightenment. So Hiranyakashipu, he stood between these realities, but he chose pride. That is the problem. And also the Lord's lap is the highest seat. The Lord placed Hiranyakashipu upon his lap. Literally, this fulfilled Brahma's boon that spiritually it is very significant. Normally, the same lap that lovingly shelters devotee became the place where false ego was destroyed. Later, we will see that Prahlad also sat upon Narasimhadev's lap, when Narasimhadev was full of affection. So the relationship, the Lord is the same, but our relationship with Him depends upon our consciousness. And Narasimhadev used his nails. What does it mean? Because the nails reveal the Lord's Achintya Shakti. Because they are not ordinary weapons, not a separate instrument like Gada. Right? Prabhupada explained that they are neither clearly living nor dead, that weapon, thus preserving Brahma's boon. So, Narasimhadev, he does not need any external weapons. His own body is fully spiritual and unlimited, and everything connected with him possesses inconceivable potency. Here we need to note one point, that he did not kill Hiranyakashipu out of anger alone. He acted only after every opportunity for repentance has been rejected. Throughout his life, Hiranyakashipu, he blasphemed the Lord. He persecuted his devotees. He tried repeatedly to kill Prahlad, and he was terrorizing the universe. And finally, he has to come to give the final justice. So the Lord is patient, and he is also never unjust. Even in the Mahabharata, what happened? Duryodhana was given lot of time, opportunity to make a truce with the Pandavas, but he was bent upon fighting. So therefore, he has to meet his death. So therefore, no one can outsmart Krishna, God. Like Hiranyakashipu, he was thinking he had planned every possibility, but he forgot one possibility that cannot be calculated. That is the unlimited creativity of Krishna. So therefore, In the Sanskrit, there is a word called Achintya Shakti, means inconceivable potency. It is not conceivable by our material intelligence. We cannot we cannot estimate the Lord's power. His powers are inconceivable. Like we are seeing in the material world also, so many things are happening which is inconceivable for us. Just like even a small plant, from a small seed, how the plant grows, and then to big tree, and then it produces so many flowers, and that flowers, so many fruits are coming, and in each fruit one seed is there. So from each seed another one big tree can come. So who can create such inconceivable, who can have such inconceivable energy? Only God can do that one. So therefore we must understand that Krishna's power is unlimited. So finally, Hiranyakashipu was killed. So it looks like this verse very like appearing like terrifying. It's look like very in a sense like a movie where a villain is killed in a very horrible way. But it's not like that. In this verse, it is described that there's a blood in Narasimhadeva's face, and there was fears in the eyes, and he was wearing the intestines of Hiranyakashipu as garland. So this looks like very horrible. But Prabhupada once made us understand this is not violence born of hatred or cruelty. This is completely transcendental, divine anger of the Supreme Lord to protect his devotee and to kill his demon. Even the description is there in Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, it is said 64 crores of people were killed. And the descriptions, if you see there, if you read those descriptions, your hairs will stand on end. Such a horrible descriptions are there to even imagine. It seems the blood was flowing like a river, such a ghastly forms, But then we have to understand that all this is done by the Supreme Lord's will. But the same Supreme Lord, anyone who was killed in the Mahabharata war, they all got liberated because they all left his body in front of the when the Lord was present. So whether you are a demon or a devotee, if you are killed by Krishna, they get ultimately liberated. That is why it's called absolute truth. So here we see that the Lord's fearsome form is an expression of his unlimited compassion towards his devotees and perfect justice toward the wicked. So we need to understand Krishna's anger is always spiritual, not material. We get anger because of frustration, false ego, desire, envy, hatred, and then we lose our intelligence. But the Lord's anger is not like that. His anger is for protection of his devotees and to establish righteousness and to destruction of the evil. And it is all for divine purpose and completely pure. That's why Krishna says that he appears to protect his devotee and destroy the wicked and to re-establish dharma. So that's what we see here. Narasimhadeva's anger is visible here. So one may ask, why did the Lord remain so fierce? Even after Hiranyakashipu was killed, the Lord's anger has not subsided because he was protecting his devotee. And it was not uncontrolled anger. It is a divine vigilance. Just like a loving father, he does not immediately relax after rescuing his child from a dangerous attacker. Similarly, Narasimhadev remained alert until all danger had passed. Here we see blood. There is a blood in the face of Narasimhadev, but it only enhanced the Lord's beauty. So this may looks very surprising. How can such a scene be so beautiful? Because everywhere blood, all kinds of substance from inside the body. It doesn't look very nice. But because it is connected with the Supreme Lord, everything becomes transcendental. So we should not see with the material vision. We should see from the spiritual point of view. So therefore, we should understand the spiritual principle, that is Satchidananda. Krishna is described as Satchidananda Vigraha. Means, what does it mean? Sat means eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So nothing can connect with its transcendental form. So with that we need to understand. So it is described in text 91 that how the Lord is so angry. What has happened? So angry that what happens after killing Hiranyakashipu? Here, there is an eternal conflict between God consciousness and God and Asuri nature. So, not only now, this fight between the Devas and Asuras, it is always there. Just like nowadays we see there is always fight between one nation and another nation is going on. Same way, even in upper planetary system, the Asuras keep attacking the Devatas. So since the beginning of creation, there have been always two kinds of people. One is called Devas, another is called Asuras. Devas means one who have divine nature, and Asuras means demonic nature. And there will be always, frequently, there will be fight between these two people. So the real enemy was not the soldiers. So Lord Narasimhadev, he destroyed Hiranyakashipu's followers also because they actively supported Hiranyakashipu's campaign against Dharma. So therefore the Lord destroys, he not only destroys their body, but their organized opposition towards Dharma. So the spiritual lesson is here is that there will be always a battle between truth and falsehood, devotion and arrogance. Another point here is that a godless civilization, it cannot last for long. Yes. So that's why frequently, whenever there is yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijami aham. So whenever there is a decline of religious practice, Krishna comes personally or sometimes he sends his devotees uh, to rectify the situation. So we should not think that there is no supreme controller, that we are independent and material advancement is everything. Krishna is ultimately, he is the controller. Nothing can happen without his approval. So in the same 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes the mentality of the demonic people. He says that asatyam apratishtam te jagat ahur anishwaram. So according to the non-believers or atheists, they think that the world is unreal. There is no foundation and there is no supreme controller at all. So therefore, these points will ultimately lead to suffering. It will disconnect humanity from spiritual foundation. So the Lord does not require great effort to overcome evil. So he can easily overcome all these things. He is Sarva Shaktiman. The Lord possesses unlimited power. So we need to understand also Hiranyakashipu's soldiers represents the many anarthas, unwanted qualities that support our false ego. The same six enemies: lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. So when the Lord destroys the chief enemy, false ego, he also destroys the supporting tendencies. So here we see that everything which is coming from Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yat Yat Vibhutimat Sattvam Srimat Urjitam Evava Tat Tat Eva Vagachat Tvam Mama Tejo Amsa Sambhavan. So we see so many glorious, wonderful, beautiful things in this world. But where from it comes? The source is from Krishna. So we should understand that whenever we see any great intelligence, beauty, strength, courage, compassion, a great artistic talent, we should remember that it is Krishna's tiny reflection of Krishna's unlimited greatness. So here we see Lord Narasimha is the source of all cosmic power. So the form described here about Narasimhadev is that his hands were shaking and he was almost touching the clouds. So his eyes were so powerful and so glaring that even the sunlight became very dim. And he was breathing, while breathing was agitating all the seas. And he was roaring, and he's roaring like all the elephants. They were crying in fear. So we can understand how the opulence, how the majestic form of Lord Narasimhadev. So these are not just exaggerations. So by this we can understand the force of governing the universe are all just insignificant before the Creator. So we see in nature so many powerful things, but Krishna is infinitely more powerful. So whatever creation we are seeing here, wonderful things, it cannot become equal to the Creator. That means the sun, moon, stars, oceans, and mountains. When you see that how vast and how big, how wide it is, we can see the greatness. But we have to understand these are all just the products of Krishna's energy. So how much Krishna must be greater? Who's the creator of all these great things, right? So we may see a beautiful painting, but it also reveals the talent of the artist who painted, right? Same way, we may see so many wonderful things happening in this material world. Now we give credit to the people. No, Nobel Prize. Someone who has invented something. Someone has created something great. So we give great honor. But where from this greatness came? This greatness came from the Supreme Lord. So we can realize that how the Supreme Lord is so grateful. Just like a sports person, he may score like in a cricket so many great centuries, so many things he can do, so many wickets he may take. But all these talents, his skills are given by who? The Supreme Lord. So how much great he must be. So that is how the devotee sees. So whenever he sees something great, he can all see behind the person who has given all this power for the person to do the different wonderful things. Yeah. So in text 33, it is described here that all the planets were just thrown like an airplane, and the earth was shaking just by Narasimhadev's footsteps because of the pressure he has created. And then all the mountains sprang up because of the pressure. So the light which came from Narasimhadev's body, it was illuminating in all the direction. So that is how the Supreme Lord, we can see the power of the Supreme Lord. So we should understand that universe belongs to the Lord, right? Everything is within his control. Wherever he walks, when he walks, the earth trembles. Whenever he breathes, the oceans become agitated. So when he glances, the stars lose their brilliance. So that is connected to the Bhagavad Gita words, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyatecha Taracharam. So what he is saying in Bhagavad Gita, material nature is working under my supervision. So Lord Narasimhadev demonstrated this supreme truth. So we see here that Srila Prabhupada, he gives an example here. So in a modern time, now we are talking about aeroplanes, missiles and all these things, rocket we are sending. But in the scripture Bhagavatam, it is already mentioned about airplanes and vimanas. Vimanas means the airplanes. So in the olden times, in ancient time also, this travel between different planets was there through airplane. But that technology was different. Not like today's technology of putting fuel. And this technology is causing more great damage, because when the plane crashes, what happens? Everyone dies because of that fuel. But the ancient scripture describes a different vimanas. It doesn't use this kind of aviation fuel. That is not required. That's a different way it travels. It's a different technology. So advanced civilization existed not only in Earth but also in higher planetary system. So it proves that Vedic culture has existed from the time of creation. That we need to understand. So Prabhupada is showing that material advancement is not unique, not this modern age, but even from the we can see from the Vedic scriptures, the description is there. Much advanced technology. So we need to understand technology alone is not civilization. So we may think that advanced aircraft prove spiritual superiority. But Prabhupada is writing consistently to show that Hiranyakashipu, he is showing he is having advanced power, extraordinary abilities, great wealth. But when but he did not possess the great wealth of bhakti which Prahlad had. So therefore, Prahlad was truly protected. So real civilization is measured not by machines, but by God consciousness. Sometimes we Indians think that our country is very poor. We are materially very far behind the Western countries. But that's not the way to see. The real progress means spiritually advanced culture. Where is the spiritually advanced culture? So if that is absent, then that is not the real civilization. So real civilization is measured by not by machines but by God consciousness. Same way nowadays people are very much careful to give their children very good material education. They spend a lot of lakhs of money to get into engineering college or medical college, but they don't see that their son or daughters are getting spiritually educated. So what is the point simply giving material education, not giving any spiritual education? That is not real advancement. So we may give all this material education so that we may take up some job, lead a honest life. But that is not the goal of life. The goal of life, ultimately, one has got spiritual knowledge, then his life is becoming wasted. So parents, we have to ensure that children are not only you are giving the physical comfort of material education, material comfort, but they should also get spiritual knowledge. So that is absolutely necessary. So just like earning lakhs of rupees per month is not sufficient. What he should also learn, one should have also had a spiritual knowledge, how much he is spiritually advanced. That is the real advancement of a human life. So this is what is required. And Prabhupada went to America, England. Those people asked Prabhupada, why you have come from a very poor country to beg from us? Prabhupada said, no, I am not coming from a poor country. I am coming from a very, very rich country. When you Britishers, you ruled India, and then when you left, you forgot to take the real wealth. You looted, you took so much of wealth, but you forgot the real wealth, that is the spiritual wealth. And I have come here to give you that spiritual wealth to you, to give you door delivery. So Prabhupada went to America and England not for begging money, but to give. So we Indians, we are very proud to go to Western countries to learn technology, but we should also give the most rarest the most wonderful thing of spiritual knowledge to everyone. That is the real wealth. So that is what we have got. That is a real wealth. Because anyway, material wealth will be taken away at certain point of our time. But real nobody can get the take away the spiritual knowledge. That is the real wealth. So therefore, we should be very learned. We should earn this real wealth and distribute to others. That is the real parodharma. So that we will see later. Prahlad will give you the teachings that how his supreme wealth, how his supreme knowledge is to be given to others. That we will see in the next class, coming classes. So it's time, we'll stop now. Any questions, any comments you want to add?
Hare
Or is it
Krishna,
clear?
Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mata.
Won't Hiranyakashipu and Narsimhadev have any dialogue, Prabhuji?
Sorry, the audio got disturbed. Can you repeat?
Won't Narsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu have any dialogue, Prabhuji? Won't they speak to each other?
And there is no description in Bhagavatam like that.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, then thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Mancha Kalpatargasya Kripa Sindhubhyasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Hope you all attended this Jagannath Rath Yatra festival. Anyone had the opportunity?
I have seen in the TV that I am residing in Tirupur, so I cannot participate. Just saw it.
Oh, Tirupur, but Tirupur is near Coimbatore. Coimbatore, they are having some
Yeah,
programs.
yeah. But they don't celebrate. It's in Chennai only.
No, Coimbatore also is there.
No,
It's
ISKCON, they
there.
are celebrating.
Yeah.
Next year I will try to be a part of it. Thank you.
All
Sure.
ISKCON centers definitely will be there.
I
In my
participated.
son's apartment in Bangalore, they celebrate. I used to take part every year, but I couldn't go there this year.
Okay.
ECR temple, I
Okay, you are there.
participated.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Namaste. Thank you. Pranams.